the question is, are we here just to survive? Are we on this earth, on this conscience, just to get by? I believe that we are here to make an impact. Some of us make an impact on the world. Maybe some of us want to make an impact on our communities. Maybe some of us want to make an impact on our family. But we are here to make an impact. Would you like to make an impact on the world, on our family? Yeah, of course. All of us need to do that. And this guy wanted to make an impact on the world. Who knows this person? Everybody, anyone knows this one? Yeah, no. This one is an Austrian, Hungarian physician, a doctor, that lived in the 1800s. And he was trying to make an impact on the world. He had an idea, an experiment that would literally change the world, and his invention, his experiment is responsible for half of us being here. And so imagine that in 1840, he was in Vienna, Austria, doing a conference for the Doctor Association of Austria at that time. So imagine that you are there, like he was, in the public, just like this one, maybe a few more people, maybe a little less. And when he presented his idea, he was laughed off stage. He was not just booed, he was ridiculized for his idea. And so what was the problem? It's communication, of course. And when people think that the communication has gone wrong, usually they have 4 things that they see that maybe it was that 4 things that gone wrong with the communication. The first one was he wasn't an authority on that matter, right? So maybe he didn't know what he was talking about. Well, Ignaz Semmelweis, the name of this Hungarian doctor, was an authority. He was a young doctor, but then again in the 1800s everybody was young, right? When the life expectancy is 50, nobody gets to be old. So he was a young doctor, but a brilliant student. He worked in the best hospital in Vienna, maybe just one hospital, but it was the best one. So he was a recognized physician on that area. So he had the authority to speak on what he was talking about. Then the second thing is, maybe it wasn't proven. It was just a theory, but it was. He did an experiment. He was running experiments for 2 years in the General Hospital of Vienna with this exact experiment, and the results were amazing. So it was proven. He had data. Then you might think that the problem wasn't important enough. It wasn't significant enough. And what was the problem? He was dealing with lowering the rate of an infection that happened to women when they were giving birth. They caught an infection that developed into a fever that was highly deadly. More than 50% of the women giving birth died at birth, and the child suffered with it. So I think this is important, right? It's significant. Then you might think of the 4th thing, that is, it wasn't simple. It was a very complex thing and people couldn't understand. Well, let me share with you what was his idea. His idea was washing your hands. Yes, like Sonia is saying there. His idea was washing your hands. You see, in the 1800s, people didn't believe what they didn't saw, and they didn't saw germs. And what he found out was that in that hospital, the doctors that delivered the birth also gave classes and were a lot of times doing autopsies and showing students how they do. And so they then go to give birth to a child. And his idea was met with ridicule. You see, your idea can be as simple, it can be proven, it can be impactful, it can be powerful, it can be an authority, and still you cannot create an impact if you do not master this communication. That is why this is such a critical skill. It's not a soft skill, it's a critical skill. This is an essential skill. What is the result when you don't master? This is the result. And what was the result for Ignaz Semmelweis? I think he was the first one to get cancelled because he was fired from the Vienna hospital. The hospital reverted the experiment he was doing, and the infection rates got up again. He then moved to his hometown in Pest, in Budapest, in Hungary, went to a maternity to work, implemented the same thing, got the thing back down. So again proven. He published books, he published studies, and he was always met with ridicule. This guy is crazy, you have to be put away. And he did. About 20 years later, he died in a mental institution from burnout and depression. His idea could have saved millions and millions if he only could communicate in the proper manner. It was more than 50 years later that a Scottish surgeon picked up on his process and tried to push forward again with a lot of things, but nowadays it's like normal, right? Nowadays. Remember COVID? What was the first thing they said? Wash your hands. So nowadays but it could have saved millions in that time. So I have for you a quick diagnosis. Yeah. So show of hands. Who here has gone through this following situation? You have said something over and over and over again, and people didn't listen. And then somebody from the outside came in, said the exact same thing, and people listened and thought it was a great idea. Not only with your kids, with other people too, right? Who here has been in front of your perfect customer, your perfect client, and you said, this person is absolutely perfect for what I have to offer, and somehow they didn't understand it or have that? Yeah. Which one have gone through a speech, like a conference, talked with someone, and by the end said, well, I think I could have conveyed my message with more impact. I think I could do a lot better. Yeah. So, what I have here for you is 3 magical keys. And these 3, it's under commas, the magical, and I will explain to you why that it's under commas. But these magical keys are basically the synthesis of all that I've been studying and working on communication, and that can be applied to any communication situation. So it can be applied in your family, it can be applied to one-to-one, one-to-many, in a speaking situation, in a call. It can be applied everywhere. So these are the most basic tools that if you master, you will be able to elevate your influence, your communication, and your impact. Okay? First, a little bit about myself. So I've told you I'm Ricardo, I'm from Porto. I just recently had my 30th birthday. It was in 2010 that I had it. So some of you are doing the math, right? Thank you. So yeah, I'm 45. I have 4 kids. I have four children. My oldest one is turning 18 this October, and whenever I say this, I pause for a little bit so that the information can sink in. I'm not sure if you have kids in that part of their life, but sometimes it's hard, and by sometimes I mean every day. I have another one of 12, a little boy of 11, and my youngest one is Mafalda of 5-year-old. So a lot of communication going on in the house, sometimes more than I wish for. Sometimes all I wanted was a little bit of silence and, and no communication for just a little bit. Yeah. I don't have any dogs, sorry, Sonia. I have almost a cat. Almost, yeah, because it was a rescued cat and it doesn't have the tail, so I measure it as like 0.97 of a cat. It doesn't amount to 1 cat. And my journey of communication started not at a young age. At a young age, I'm not a shy person. I don't know if you have noticed it by now, but I'm not exactly shy. But I have shyness in me. It's just that I found a strategy when I was very, very young. When I was a little kid, I found out that I could get away with a lot if I just crack a joke or made something funny, made other people laugh, right? I could get away in most of awkward situations, social situations, or any misbehavior. And so, when the kid does something that works, what does he do after? More of it, right? And so I did more of it. And when I got to school, it helped me a lot because my name, my surname is Peixe, which in Portuguese means fish. It's the word for fish. So you can see how teased I was about the other kids about my name. I always wore glasses. I have a bit of a cross-eyed, but if you think that I'm not looking at you, please assume that I do, okay? So it will be much more comfortable for me. It's for me or for the one in the back, for both of you. I'm always looking at you, okay? So I got these, you know kids can be very mean, right? Yeah, you just get made fun of for two things, anything and everything, right? And so I found out that in school, my situation, my ability to crack a joke they made fun of me less because I could respond. And so it worked out perfect. And if you do the same thing very often, you get really good at that. And soon enough, I was the class clown. Yeah? All of you had a class clown in your classes? Yeah. Maybe some of you were the class clown. Yeah, some of you were the class clown. I was the class clown. And being the class clown is great. You have friends, people want to hang out with you. Life is good when you're the class clown. Life is really good up until the moment that you want to be taken seriously. It's a great life just until that moment. Because when you are you want to be taken seriously, nobody listens to you because you're the class clown. And that's when I started really working on my communication, because I knew that if I wanted to do other things with my life, just cracking jokes wouldn't do it. Although I love humor, I love cracking jokes, I think that fun is the way to go, but we need a little bit more, okay? And so what I'm going to share with you is the things that allowed me to be, for the past 18 years in this coaching, training, speaking events, speaking business, sometimes talking with a group like a small group, like this reunion here, or just a big group, like sometimes in bigger settings, 2,000 people and more. So what I'm going to distill here is that 3 magical keys that from all of my experience I think are the best. And why do I put like magical between commas? Because magic does not exist. And when I say this, usually the crowd goes, oh, you were distracted, I'm going to say it again. Magic doesn't exist. Yes, that was what I was going for. So, and what exists is illusion, right? Illusion exists. And magic, after all, if we think about it, it's a process. A process that if we follow all of the steps and master the steps of the process, produces magic. I really like watching magic. Do you like watching magic? Do you like seeing magic? Yeah. The first one that I really got caught up was David Copperfield. You remember David Copperfield? Yeah. I know your age now. If you remember David Copperfield. David Copperfield is a fantastic magician, and one of the things that you can never find out how he did the tricks, but if you look at the process, you can create the same things. And in communication, there is no magic. There is no magic formulas, nothing that works every time. But if you work on the process, you can produce magic.